Today we're going to get into the new front shocks in the front and a set of Belltechs. Part numbers for those are 23408s. I don't know if we're going to put the spacers in or not, but shouldn't be too bad since we just had it all apart recently. I did cut the springs that were on there. Cut them down to 14 inches, trying to get a guess where I would like, and that took 3 inches off the overall length of the spring. I've cut them down before, it's no big deal. I just want the different ride that the Belltechs give. And make sure you got an even ride height and all that good stuff. So we'll pull this apart real quick and have a go at it. I've been up all night at work, but I want to start trying to get more things done during the week. And thankfully Ryan was nice and brought me a coffee on his way to work. So I should have enough juice to last till about noon before I gotta head home. So if I can get the whole front end done today, then I'll be happy. And since I don't seem to have any GoPro batteries with me, and it's almost dead already, we're gonna rely on the phone today. So I'm not sure when this shut off. I'm getting a little frustrated with this camera. So anyways, I use the factory rubbers, they're up in there. If I wasn't already finished the job, I'm not taking it all apart again now. The whole thing took maybe 45 minutes, including pulling the wheel off. All I did was pop it apart here and the bottom half of the sway bar link so I could lower the control arm. Lowered it until this was sloppy. That's why I cut them short last time I had this apart, because it would make life easier. So put the factory rubber back on the top of the Belltech, slipped it in the proper position, and then put the new Belltech in. Belltech nitro drop shocks. So we'll see how the shocks work. If they're too harsh or soft, I'll put the factory ones back in, because I know the factory ones ride decent and they handle okay. So even though they're probably factory replacements at the very least. So as you can see, they're really close in height. I cut these ones to 14 inches, and that's pretty close to what these ones are. 7 coils, 6 coils. These ones are really harsh at the moment, but I cut them off, and that was to get an idea of the height that I wanted and make life easier when I was putting it back together this time. So we'll get this one in the other side now. This side measures 31 inches, and the side over here measures 30. Now we got a bit of toe out. We're gonna have to line it up, set the toe, make sure everything's good that way. Mind you, this side has had all the weight of the truck sitting on it for the last hour, so that could have something to do with it. That's settled a little more already, because it's already dropped 5/8 of an inch just since the last time I measured it. So we'll see what they are after a few days. Right now there's a 1 inch difference, and you can definitely see it from the front. think it'll look good when it's all done. See what the back is at. So right now we're at 35.5 and about 35 5/8. So 35 5/8 at the back, and we're at 30. Did I say 30? I think 30. Yeah, just over 30. So the shackles and the spring perches for the rear are supposed to drop at 4 inches. So if we drop from 35 to 31, we might have about 1 inch of rake, and that'll be fine. Right now it looks ridiculous being way up in the back like that, low in the front. So this is the kit I got. It's just a pair of shackles. That's all it is. The part number is 6400 for the Silverado short box. But they're there, all painted and nice. And then we're gonna go put them in a rusty mount. And let's hope if the bushing looks too shitty in there, I'll go get some more. Actually, I think I have 4 in the box here, so I'll probably just throw them in anyways. So that 2 shackles, box, and instructions with any good man would throw away, like a map, because we don't need maps or instructions. Alright, let's get to her. So now we're back to the back end of this thing, and lucky for us, it looks like someone has replaced these shackles at some point, because the nut is on the inside. So if you can see up there, let's get the cobwebs out of the way first. You know, the truck's been sitting outside too long when it's got covered in cobwebs. So see that bolt head? That's a bonus for us, because that means I don't have to lift the box off, and I'm really happy about that. So that's going to be a bonus. I'm just going to zip those apart and do each side. The other side's like that too. I already checked, so I wanted to make sure they were both like that before I started celebrating. The top one is a bit of a beast. This one here, I pulled it out no problem. Broke it free with just the wrench, so hoping I'll get as lucky up top. And that thing will be in and out of there in no time. We'll have to see how that goes. This bolt's being a pain. I don't want to come out. So it's either stuck inside the bushing, or it's stuck in the shackle here. Either way, it's just going to come out. I'll use a pickle fork and it'll separate at least this from this. I don't even care. I'll cut this off. It's going in the garbage anyway, so if it comes down to it, I'll just buzz it off to get it out. After a big wrestling match, I ended up having to reach up in there with the air grinder and cut this off. Cut that ear off so I could slowly pry that out of the rubber. So that's the core of the bushing for the spring, and the bolt's still in it. So I'll have to get these two apart and find the new bushings. So there it is, all in there. I can tell you that it's not fun at all doing it on the floor, but as long as everything comes apart okay, especially for the guys that are down south, it's not bad doing it on the floor. If I had to do it again on a rusty Canadian truck, hoist it is. That bushing and the spring bushing was a pain in the ass. And of course I can't film it because there's no room for me and the camera and tools and everything else, but it's all back together. We'll set her down and see how low it is on this side. As you can see from the back, it now sits perfectly level. 35 inches to the lip on both sides. That has the factory shackle. That has the 2-inch drop shackle. But it has a full tank of gas. So I'm going to wait until I run the fuel down to near empty and see where it sits. I want a decent sized tank in the back and centered so I don't get the Chevy lean. So right now I'm a 1/4 inch difference in the front, with the driver's side being the low, and these are both 35 1/4. So once it's empty, we'll see where it is, and if they're still even or still fairly close, then I'll do the front and drop it down. I don't want to do anything more until I know how it's going to sit. So the old girl has finally made it through inspection. The only glaring issue right now is the brake. The front brakes are pretty rusted up from sitting, so we already put all new ones in the back. So for today, we've got carbon ceramic pads. Comes with the sliders. And this is all from Max Brakes. I've used these guys for about, this is on the 4th vehicle now, so they come out pretty nice. I'll give you a shot once they're all on there. But I can't drive it the way it is because it's literally making too much, just a rubbing noise, and it's driving me crazy. The brakes work fine, but I said screw it, I want it all redone, and then we'll go from there. And the more I do now, the less I have to do later, and it's more reliable, so we'll get those on there. So I'm cleaning this up while the paint's drying on the caliper brackets and stuff. I'm going to load this up with the weight of the truck and tighten those control arm bushings that I never did get around to tightening up, and you can definitely feel it when you're driving the truck. So I just happened to forget about it, but you have to have the suspension loaded with the weight before you tighten them up. Yeah, they weren't even holding tight. It's just my fault. I wasn't even, I forgot all about it. I meant to do it. There's the front one. Alright, so I got that side done. I'll throw the other side together before I take off. I gotta cut that off. I forgot to cut it off. You can see it's sitting on it. It's pretty low. I might end up raising the front end of the truck a bit. There's side 2 done. Decided might as well clean it up, paint the frame and that stuff like I did on the other side. I'll slap that back together, and then we'll do a redneck alignment. So I got the front wheel, or the steering wheel, locked in the center position. It will not move. But as you can see, or I hope you can tell, that wheel's just towed out just a bit. It's not a whole lot, but they're both the same. So when you add those two together, that's gonna, it wants to track, so it keeps pulling one way, you straighten it out, it goes the other way. So we're gonna put the toe in with my homemade turntables under there. As long as I can move the tie rods, it shouldn't be a big deal. So that loosened off pretty easy. I'm hoping that boot spins. That's why it felt so bad. It's out by a country mile. She's gonna take a few turns. She's way out, but I did drop it quite a bit. Probably about 4 or 5 inches in total in the front. So I was having trouble getting it close. So what I've done, set up the string close to square with the back tire. So I'm 5.5. I did it exact. I'm just showing you guys. So this is square to this tire. So when I get up here, I use this front end measurement in the same spot as the string. It doesn't matter as long as you measure from the same point. And I'm 1/16 toed in now, like that. So if I measure this one at the same point as the string height, I am 11/16, 6 11/16 off the rim, and at the front 6 3/4. So it works out perfect. Make sure it's the same now that I tightened up. Yep, still 6 3/4. So I got a 1/16 of toe on this side. I'll set it up and do the other side. So these are the tables I made. They're actually big bearings out of a hydraulic motor that from where I used to work. They're no good for high speed because of the races, but they used to be in a hydraulic motor that was, these were on the main shafts on each end. So we took them out and I'm like, these are still good. So I welded these plates in the center and made some turntables so I can actually drop them in the floor. Once I get in the right place, I'll put them right in the floor and go from there. I TIG welded them all up, all looking fancy. Really, it's just to hold the bearing around, so for doing the alignments it works pretty good. So right now she sits with the 2-inch drop. I put the spacer back in because it was too low and those big old tires were hitting, and I have 2 full sets of those, so I want to run them for the winter time. So I boosted the front back up, and then we got the back coming. It's going to come down a bit more, and until I'm literally gonna put a level on that box and make it perfectly level, because I can't stand it with the back end up like that. So all right, thanks for watching.